I went for one interview where the person was like they were kept telling me this person was a really slick litigator, like very Mr. GQ slick litigator, like you must like look perfect. And I had like gotten my nails done in like red, which was like very bold, but I wore a black suit and red nails. And apparently he noticed and was like, "Oh, I like that she takes risks." Me connecting with maxing out the LinkedIn connection requests per week, almost 3 years ago at this point now.
Mhm.
I'm rounding up. It's 2.5 years we've been in business. And so a year before that, when I knew that we were going to launch, nobody else knew, but my partner and I knew, my business partner I knew. I was terrified that I was going to become a vendor and that people wouldn't want to talk to me anymore. So for me, and we have no book of business because we were in-house legal marketers and you're not allowed to talk to clients. And we had no investments and we really had no like capital.
Mhm.
So I, the only thing that I thought I could do in stealth mode was start to build my LinkedIn presence and start sending connection requests to people while I was still employed by the firm. Cause then, like, I'm not selling anything, and that people would be more likely to accept my request when I worked at the firm versus me becoming a consultant. And so that's probably honestly like my LinkedIn following like started because I was like obsessively sending out the LinkedIn connection requests. It's 250 a week, in case you're wondering, right? As you can send out 250 connection requests a week, and you hit the limit. LinkedIn will say you can't send any more. We want you to pay. Like you are obviously using this for sales, right? So I was just doing that for like an entire year, like sending it out. I didn't even care. I did not like
Well
it was
done.
targeted, but
Yeah.
it was like legal marketers, other lawyers who I thought were interesting, anybody in the legal space, connect. I didn't care who they were, just right because I needed the volume. I had 500 connections when we started, and now people are following me now, right? Like, and I don't have to like people like my content and they're following me now. But I have over 20,000 followers now, like on LinkedIn, and that for a lot of people feels like I was nowhere and then all of a sudden I was everywhere, which is what someone actually said. I'm like, yeah, that's literally what happened, right? And um, so my whole point is that I most likely sent you a connection request, and
Well,
so
if that's what happened, I'm glad that you did.
yeah,
And because it something you did, posted, whatever, resonated. And
yeah,
then um, more recently, I, your posts continued to resonate. And so I started to stalk you a little.
yeah,
And, just so many of your posts really show who you are.
mm,
And, a couple, your posts and your website, and we'll talk about stage.
yes,
A couple of the things that stood out were your business website uh, references you and your partner Jennifer, that people can think of you as avocado toast,
yes,
and love that. Just
yes,
also because I love
sure,
avocado toast, but because of the personality in that. And you've got
yeah,
these posts about like, I put whipped cream in my coffee or something like that, and because I
yes,
can do whatever I want, and also
sure,
so can you. And
yeah,
while those things might sound silly and you might be like, yeah, why did I do that? To me, it's people ready to be human beings in our industry. And that's who
yeah,
I'm looking to have part of my world. I
yes,
don't fit into the whole robotic thing. And I really struggled for many years feeling like, oh, there's a way to do things and you have to wear a suit like this and you have to have this kind of nail polish situation going on. And, you know, I remember finishing up law school and watching some of my classmates change what they did with their hair and their piercings and their clothes and their nail polish and all of that stuff because of the guidebook that we were given on like this is how
yes,
you have to look to be a lawyer. And there were things that I also started to change about myself to fit in. And then at some point I'm like, this doesn't feel good. And
yeah,
so I loved finding people like you who are like,
mm,
yeah, I'm going to talk about putting whipped cream in my coffee and
yeah.
whatever else it is, because I get to just be me.
Yeah, but it takes a long time. It took a long time for me to get there. Like I definitely fell into that same thing. I wore, all black. I was talking to my kids like about how many piercings I used to have in my ears. Like, I, not like that many, but like definitely had multiple like holes. And I had like, I forget what this is called, but I had this pierced and I had this pierced and I had all these earrings, um, and I had like thought about getting my nose pierced, and like all of these things. And my kids were like shocked. They're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this. And so they were like, well, why didn't you do them? Like, why didn't you get your nose pierced? Why'd you take everything out? I'm like, well, I needed a job. Right. And so a lot of that, I I think it's easy now for me to say like I can do whatever I want. Well, it is easy for me to say this now because I work for myself. I'm established, and I had basically got to a point of privilege where I could say like I don't want that anymore, and I'm going to follow my own rules. I'm a white lady who lives on Long Island, who's normal, heteronormal, able bodied, like all of the privilege, right? All the things. And so it's easy for me to say, I'm going to really lean into who I am, but I also recognize where I'm coming from. And so if I can do anything in this space, it's going to be using my platform. And that sounds like vomit inducing when I say that. Using the platform that I have to like amplify other voices that maybe don't have that same privilege. And so I fell into all of those things. Like, you wear a black suit. I was even told like you must wear a skirt suit to interview, like you can't wear pants. And I went for one interview where the person was like they were kept telling me this person was a really slick litigator, like very Mr. GQ slick litigator, like you must like look perfect. And I had like gotten my nails done in like red, which was like very bold, but I wore a black suit and red nails. And apparently he noticed and was like, "Oh, I like that she takes risks." And it was because of my fucking nail polish, right? And so, but it was all calculated to fit into this corporate corporate mold, and I was very happy to play in that space and move up. And big law allows you to do that. It's very lockstep in a lot of ways. If you do this, then you get more money, and then you get more prestige, and you get more power. And um it's easy to get sucked into. It's all of the people around you are all high achieving, anxious, overworked. you know we're all the same trauma bonded like personality. And I am not a lawyer, and yet like you still kind of fall into that cycle, until I didn't want to do it anymore. Really, is like until I had reached the point of where I was tired of feeling stupid, like just the way that people were speaking to me. I had gotten tired of that, right? Like, at what point do I get to say, like, no, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. Why are you speaking to me like that? And realize that it would never be enough, no matter what I did for the company, for certain people. And I wanted to be in charge of myself. And the only way to be in charge of myself was to leave. And and to be fair, I would have never left had Jen not come up with the idea. It was Jen's idea to launch the business. I would have just kept going in this, climbing the ladder, making more money,